The Woodlands Township and SJRA have partnered for decades in maintaining George Mitchell's vision in a number of ways. One being George Mitchell's vision for a collaborative community regional government and service providers. And both SJRA and the township have provided that role and worked together in doing it. In things like environmental sustainability and protection to ensure that the waterways and the forest preserves are all preserved to the standards that Mitchell had in mind. Additionally, just in the design standards of the community, the township is responsible for the covenants that Mr. Mitchell put in place. And SJRA has collaborated with the township over the years on their construction projects of new water wells, lift stations, water towers, to ensure that those adhere to the standards as best possible to mitigate resident impact, to keep the natural environment as best it can, to protect the green space and the overall visibility and aesthetics of the community. So the relationship between SJRA and the Woodlands Township has evolved over the decades. Early on, it was just a relationship of a service provider that was there doing a great job and kind of invisible Disney approach that SJRA had of one of the service providers. As the community began to grow, a rapid growth, and SJRA starting to build new facilities and infrastructure, the relationship evolved. And a lot of that was for community input, communications. It was a complicated network of who needs to know in the community because there wasn't one central government, one central service provider. So in collaboration, the two worked a communication network, stakeholder meetings, informative sessions, using the Woodlands Community Magazine, the websites, so that both could keep the community informed as best possible. The relationship expanded when periods of time of really growth where water wells had to come back and be added to your infrastructure, SJR's infrastructure. And those projects weren't always comfortable for the adjacent neighbors. And the township and the SJRA grew to be able to adapt to how to deal with those temporary adverse impacts to residents when a water well is being drilled. And unfortunately, there's periods of time where that's 24 hours, 7 days a week. But SJRA did incredible job of working to mitigate the noise, to help reduce construction time periods as best possible. And I was part of many meetings with neighborhoods and village associations of communication and getting ahead of those projects so the residents could be informed. The relationship has strengthened over time through things like flooding, the 2015 Memorial Day flood, 2016 Tax Day flood, and 2017 Hurricane Harvey. Those events definitely were literally flood events for the community, and together, we worked to ensure sustainability. Emergency responses were there, using the township board and the village associations and all of the networks to communicate emergency response and resiliency. And an outcome of that was the One Water Task Force, which SJRA and Woodlands Water partnered with other agencies to collaborate on a monthly basis on what can be done to improve, to strengthen the bonds and the relationships, to partner together to leverage what we all had to improve resiliency and flood mitigation, making sure your wastewater and stormwater water plants were protected long term. And that's where we are today, is a great collaborative partnership between SJRA and the township that's strengthened through those those flood times, those storm times, and we've weathered those very well, which creates a great foundation for going forward. So some of the key decisions, turning points that's occurred that have helped shape the relationship between the Woodlands Township and SJRA are several. But one again I would mention is the water well constructions that were occurring at a rapid rate. Seemed like there were several going on at one time, and the residents in those affected areas didn't understand the need or could tolerate the adverse impact, even though temporarily. So we began to have monthly planning sessions, not just on those, but going forward on how we could work together, because SJRA has a 10-year capital project plan. So SJRA knew in advance what projects were going to be coming up. But the residents, the township board, wasn't aware of how far in advance these things were planned. So together we began to collaboratively strategize on communications, getting the word out to the community, what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, so we could mitigate as much as we can, inform the public, let them be a part of it to understand where we were going. And that helped build trust, relationship between the organizations and the community. Mr. Mitchell's plan was a master plan, long term, knowing years in advance of where development was going to be. And therefore it's important for everyone to be involved and aware of what was going to be happening in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. And so out of those storms and those water well issues, we developed a long-term collaboration on making people aware of what the master plan for everyone really was. So as we recognize and honor 50 years of San Jacinto River Authority and looking ahead, there's always going to be challenges. But I believe with every challenge comes opportunities. And I believe one of the biggest challenges for the San Jacinto River Authority is the aging infrastructure that's reaching its end of useful life and how it's renewed. And it's a major decision for any community as they age. Are they going to let it deteriorate, or are they going to try to just maintain it as it is, or are they going to renew it? And therein lies the opportunity for San Jacinto River Authority and Woodlands Water to work on renewal. And fortunately, there is the Woodlands Water Renewal Project initiative that's in place, and that's a great opportunity for those agencies to work together, all of us together, the township to support all of that, so that as these projects have to be employed, constructed, funded, that everyone's on board, on the same page, and looking forward down the road. Some other opportunities and challenges that I see is maintaining resilience and sustainability. So not just in renewing old infrastructure, but planning for the future with new innovation, new technology. And I think SJRA's always done a good job of looking forward and pursuing those new innovations and new technologies. The groundwater reduction project is a great example. Who in the world would have thought of doing something to that magnitude that affected the region so positively? And I believe that challenge is going to be met head on with SJRA and going forward into the future. Another that the Woodlands is beginning to experience is just the retention of great employees and replacing those that are senior employees that are beginning to retire. Here at the Woodlands Township, we talked about the senior tsunami of people that's been here a long time and they begin to leave. And so how do you recruit new people? How do you train those to come forward? Technically, and experience and education are all different. And what's different about the Woodlands is the Mitchell's vision, and to bring people in that might be 50 years after George Mitchell to understand the importance of the master plan, of collaborative governments working together to protecting the natural environment, both physically and aesthetically. Finding and retaining good people to replace those that's retiring is going to be an important challenge for every agency, including SJRA. So the message that I would like the Woodlands residents to know as we look ahead, look back regarding SJRA is to realize that we are celebrating decades of quality, reliable water and wastewater services from SJRA, and a shared commitment to maintaining those standards to the level of excellence that the community expects. The Woodlands has high expectations, always have high standards, and deservedly, because of the natural, beautiful environment, the high quality facilities, the schools and the hospitals and everything that's here. Water and wastewater is invisible, but it's critical. And I think the residents of the Woodlands in the area need to know that San Jacinto River Authority is on top of all of that they are prepared, they're planned, and together with all the other partners, including the Woodlands Township, our future is bright and well-founded in everything that SJRA has done and will do in the future.